A few weeks ago, I wrote a piece on my blog suggesting that the clouds of war were gathering within the United States against its own solar industry. I warned that opponents of the industry were gathering together, joining forces, and were trying to destroy our industry. I warned that they would fight us everywhere, from the national level, where they would cut funding, to introducing legislation in every state to continue their scorched earth policy. That piece generated a little, well, controversy. I was labeled a communist, a socialist, and a Marxist. Incidentally, by people who didn't seem to have actually read Marx or understood the context of when or about what he was writing. In fact, I developed my addiction to coffee by reading Marx's work. But I digress. I was accused of using overblown and alarmist language. Well, you may not like it, but you know what? It turns out I was more right than even I imagined. The Guardian, a British newspaper known for its excellent investigative reporting, published an explosive exposé on concerted efforts of some of the most well-known conservative groups in the United States to sabotage President Barack Obama's clean energy strategy with coordinated subversion through dirty tactics, including setting up dummy corporations to launch anti-wind and anti-solar campaigns. From The Guardian, quote, "A number of right-wing organizations, including Americans for Prosperity, which is funded by the billionaire Koch brothers, are attacking Obama for his support for solar and wind power. The American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC, which also has financial links to the Kochs, has drafted bills to overturn state laws promoting wind energy." End quote. The Koch brothers, in case you're unaware, own the largest privately held oil company in the world, so you can imagine that their funding of these groups is not philanthropic. It's in their best business interests to fight against renewable energy. And ALEC, I've written about them too. Separately, these armies would put up a good fight, but their strength would be splintered and less effective. But now, as The Guardian noted, there's a new group that will help coordinate these efforts. Again from The Guardian, quote, "The strategy proposal was prepared by a fellow of the American Tradition Institute, or ATI, although the think tank has formally disavowed the project. The proposal was reviewed by John Dross Jr., a senior fellow at ATI, for discussion at the Washington meeting which he also organized. ATI's executive director, Tom Tanton, said Droz had acted alone on the memo, although he confirmed he remains a fellow at the think tank. ATI is a loose coalition of ultra-conservative think tanks and networks united by their efforts to discredit climate science and their close connections to the oil and gas industry, including the Koch family. Those groups include the Heartland Institute, the John Locke Foundation, and Americans for Prosperity, the organizing arm of the Tea Party movement. ATI is a relatively new entrant, coming to national attention only last year when it filed lawsuits against climate scientists including Michael Mann and James Hansen." End quote. The right wing is not just fighting renewable energy on all fronts, but they've sworn to do it in unethical and dirty ways. As an aside, this is not a new strategy for conservatives. It dates back as far as Richard Nixon's 1968 campaign against Lyndon Johnson. There's a special name for these tactics, but we're a family magazine. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, Google Donald Segretti and dirty tricks. With these clearly organized, coordinated attempts to destroy the solar industry, it becomes increasingly important for the solar industry to unite and fight back. If we allow them to gain momentum in this underhanded manner, then we will lose this fight and our industry will be destroyed. I take to my commentary again to plead, beg, and demand that those of you who aren't already involved in this fight get ready, because the battle for your future is in your hands. You must hold your federal and state representatives accountable. Be evangelists for this industry everywhere you go. Block parties, offices, churches. Wherever you have a chance to talk to people about the advantage of solar power, do it. Urge your Facebook friends and Twitter followers to call their representatives to demand that they stop this attempt to destroy your livelihood. And then after that, urge them to vote in November. Yes, it's that important. I've been called a partisan before, and it's true. I'm a partisan for the best interests of the solar industry. I will always defend this industry when it is under attack and this battle is about to get even more fierce. I will continue to fight the forces that would suck the life out of this industry by calling them out and asking all of you to help me hold them accountable. We must do this. Our livelihoods are at stake. I'm ready to do battle with every fiber of my being. Are you? I'm Frank Andorka, editorial director of Solar Power World magazine. Until next time.